Hello everyone in Facebook and YouTube world. We're back once again. I am Tim. I work for Golf Cart Garage. I'm one of the technicians here at Golf Cart Garage. We got some golf cart related questions that we're going to go over like we do every week, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we may interact with some people in the live chat. If you're anybody in the live chat, feel free to ask a question, feel free to comment. This is episode 74. It's November the 17th. So here we go. Let's get started. Since the garage is now open, we'll get started with the questions. Question number 1. My club car has an intermittent problem with dying out power. The batteries all check out. One day it runs fine, the next day it gives me trouble trying to diagnose what the problem is. Okay, I would need a little bit more in the description of your symptom in order to help you, because I'm going to want some specific battery readings with a voltmeter, especially when it dies out. I would need some voltmeter readings there because I need to eliminate your batteries as being the issue. And so I would go through, I would do the in the field load test like I've talked about before, where you literally just connect your voltmeter leads to each battery and drive the golf cart after it starts to fail, and then you watch your voltmeter for the numbers, and you switch it to the next battery and do the same thing. You do that test 6 times and watch for one battery that the voltage is dropping out a whole lot lower than the other 5, and that may be the culprit there. So I wanted to eliminate that first before we talk about anything else. Let's see, number 2. I have an EZGO 36 volt golf cart. The charger never shows over 5 volts. I think you mean amps there. I disconnected and tested the volts of each battery, and they are between 6.3 and 6.4 each. I'm confused about what the problem might be. The charger is humming but shuts off after a couple of hours, but still only shows about 5 amps. Okay, first let's talk about what normal operation would be for an EZGO 36 volt cart. And you've got the charger with the amp gauge, so that means you have a EZGO PowerWise charger. So normal operation would be this: you plug it into your cart, and there's a couple of seconds delay. You watch the needle on your charger, and it will boom. It'll ping pretty far to the right, probably up to like 20. Okay, not just 5, it should go to 20. And then slowly it will drop throughout the charge cycle. It will get down to around 5 amps or 4 amps, somewhere in that area, and it will stay there. This is after a matter of several hours. You know, it will take it to get to that point. Once it gets to that point, it will stay there for a little while. Let's stay there for like an hour or 2, you know, somewhere in that range. And then, boom, it is shut completely off. And then it's not doing anything. It's shut completely off. That would be normal operation. Now what you're describing, I believe what you're saying is that it never gets past 5 amps on the amp gauge. Well, when you first plug it in, it should go way to the right. It should go, like I said, up to about 20. So you could have a problem with that charger. So what I would want to do is I'd want to try that charger on another 36 volt EZGO. They're all over the place. You know, find another 36 volt EZGO and see if it does the exact same thing on another 36 volt EZGO, so we could eliminate that as being the problem. And if it is, then we could talk about what to do, because the charger is repairable and the parts for that PowerWise charger are available. The diodes are available, capacitor is available, the computer board inside of it is available. So we could talk about what to do next after we eliminate that charger as being the problem or not. Let's see, that was number 2. Ayman Rashad, great info, Tim. What's up, Ayman? Anthony Moore, can I revive a dead cell in an 8 volt battery? I troubleshot it to the bad cell. Anthony, it doesn't hurt. I'll tell you this, it does not hurt to try, but I've never been successful at doing that. I gave up trying to do that a long time ago because I never was successful, and I don't know of anybody who has been successful at reviving one dead cell. But it doesn't hurt to try. There's a lot of things out there that you can buy, you know, additives and different things like that that claim that they can do that. But that would be up to you. And batteries are expensive, so give it a shot, man. Give it a shot. And AEHR I always look forward to your videos and tips. Tim, really helpful. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I look forward to coming here, actually. I enjoy my job. So thank you for saying that. Let's see. Got any more questions on YouTube right now? Nothing? Okay, number 3. My 2003 club car 48 volt leaks around the battery caps. Crown brand batteries may not be vented. Should I loosen the caps when charging? All batteries charge to 8.4 volts. I have to add water every week. Thoughts? Well, I'll tell you the most common reason that happens. I mean, I've had people, you know, complain about that all the time, not just with Crown batteries, with all kinds of different batteries. And what I have found throughout the years, the most common reason that they leak out of the top of the batteries, believe it or not, it's because they got too much water in them. I mean, they're being overfilled. Like at the golf course, you know, you got 50 cars, and you got these cart guys that are in charge of the carts. When the carts come in from the golf course, you got cart guys that put them back in the barn, and they have a routine that they go through. They rinse them off, they open the seat, they pop the caps, and they take the water hose, for it's probably well water or whatever they're using on the golf course, and they just fill up the batteries. That's where I never have liked to hear it when somebody says they top the batteries off, because all the way to the top is too much water. I probably have talked about this before, but during the charge cycle, the water level in the batteries rises a little bit. Not a lot, but it rises a little bit. And if your batteries are full all the way to the top, and then you go put your golf cart on charge, that water has nowhere to go except just right out the top and leaks on top of your batteries, goes to the closest metal, which is going to be your battery cables, starts corroding immediately, starts making corrosion, and just continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And then you fill them up again, and it just keeps happening. The correct water level is just to keep the lead plates underwater, keep the lead plates submerged. So that's just a little bit above the lead plates, and that allows for a little bit of room for the water to expand and contract during the discharge cycle. In other words, when you use the car, the water level goes down a little bit. So try that first. You can also try taking your caps off when you charge the golf cart. That may help also. There's nothing wrong with that. It'll charge just as easy. But you know, if you're getting a lot of gassing, make sure you're not doing this in a completely enclosed area. Might be a good idea to make sure you have adequate venting, like maybe have a fan running, because all that stuff that those batteries do when they're charging, that is toxic and it is flammable too. So just be careful with that if you got too much of that going on in the air with not proper venting. I think I've said this before too. I used to advise customers, if they're charging their golf cart inside their garage, a closed garage, especially a small garage, put a basketball or something under the seat, like raise the seat and put a basketball in there and let the seat rest on the basketball, because that allows all that gassing that the batteries are doing to escape out of the golf cart with a little bit better venting. Let's see, that was number 3. Number 4 is 2011 Precedent. Will not make 18 holes. Runs fine for 9, then chugs. Will not go uphill. Step on accelerator and voltmeter goes to red. Batteries test out over 8 volts. Batteries purchased November of 2019. Batteries are controller, question mark. I did not use the cart from May to October. Cart did not have enough charge to start charging unit. Went to the shop. They charged it enough until the charger kicked in. They said everything is working as it should. Hope this extra info is helpful. It is helpful. You know what was really helpful is that when you said that after 9 holes it's chugs, you use the word chug, and then you said that you have a battery gauge on there, and when you step on the accelerator pedal, it goes into the red. Right there, at that point out on the golf course, if you had a voltmeter with you, you could find that one battery that's dropping out. It only takes one. Like this person was asking me on YouTube about the reviving a dead cell. It could just be one cell that's dropping out. I understand your batteries from November 2019, but because you went through that winter period or whatever happened to you and you let it go dead to where it got really dead, you could have had some cell damage in one of your batteries. So it's very likely that that's what the case is. So the next time that happens, have a little cheap Walmart voltmeter or something with you, and you could find, that's a good time to find that dead battery. Well, or that dead cell, because one of your batteries is going to show a less voltage. One of them's not going to show 8 volts, is what I'm saying. And if it is, then press the accelerator pedal, and when you see that voltmeter going to red, check it then. Check it with that voltmeter in the red, and it's definitely not going to show 8 volts, the one that's bad. Let's see. Ricky Smith on YouTube. What's up, Ricky Smith? Hi, Tim. I asked if the reverse buzzer stayed on with switch off, and I heard someone else ask the same question last week. I talked to my local shop, and they confirmed that was correct. Okay, so yeah. So we finally got that confirmed. I have a TXT, Ricky, but I don't have any batteries in it. So I couldn't go out there and switch it real quick. I just couldn't remember off the top of my head. But it is confirmed now that the reverse buzzer in an EZGO TXT will sound even with the key off. If you just put it in reverse, it will sound. All right, so I'm glad we got that cleared up. Let's see. All right, let's see. Number 5 is where we were at. Battery's not holding a charge. I bought a new 36-volt charger, and it charged my batteries, but later driving around my club car for maybe 20 minutes, they've already gone down to 1/2. What can I do? I bought a new 36-volt charger. Okay, well, we just need to verify that the condition of your batteries. Like, what is the age of your batteries, first of all? Because as batteries get older, they get toward the end of their life, they go out quicker and quicker and quicker. You know, you can travel less distance before they go completely dead, before you have to recharge your car. So we need to confirm that first and see how old they are, and take some voltage readings and see where we're at, and take voltage readings at the time of failure too, because like I said before, it could just be one. Most likely it is one, because when you got 6 batteries in your car, whether it's 6 volts or 6 8 volts or 4 12 volts, whatever system you're running, they don't all go dead at the same time. One of them is going to go dead first before the rest of them. And one of them is going to, lose everything. It's going to lose everything. It's going to be out of its, time to replace it. But it's not going to happen at the same time. That's why it's important to check your car at the time of failure, and then it's easier to find out which one is dead. And then depending on how old your battery pack is, you can make a decision there on whether or not to get a whole new battery pack or just replace that one. Number 6. This is from Thomas. I just had a new controller put in my 2014 EZGO, but cart runs really slow now. It's a Freedom TXT 48. Is there anything I can do to make it run a little faster? Number 6, that's where it was at. Oh yeah, there's lots of things you can do to make a cart faster. I mean, little bitty tweaks in speed could be raised, increase your tire size a little bit. Not to the point of rubbing, but just a little bit taller tire will increase your flat ground speed a little bit. You could put you could put a different controller in there. I don't know which controller you put in there. I know you said you put a new one. You could put a 𝗫𝘂𝘶 or an Alltrack controller in there that possibly may speed that car up a little bit. You could put high-speed gears in the rear end. They make high-speed gears in the for the differential for golf cars, and you could go that route. So you could put a high-speed motor. High-speed motors, high-speed gears. Let's see what else I had here. bigger controller, you know, just that's some of the main things you could do to speed it up for sure. Number 7. This is from Danny. Why does the gas come out of the overflow tube sometimes? Yamaha Carburetor. Well, I've seen that exact thing happen in my shop many times. In fact, the last one I remember was a Yamaha. It was a Yamaha G22. Gas coming out of the overflow tube on the carburetor, and all it was just the float was sticking a little bit in the carburetor bowl. That's the most common issue that causes that. The float sticking a little bit. All I did was take I removed the carburetor and then removed the float bowl, and I could tell that it was sticking because it was, even though I had turned it upside down, it didn't move. So I pressed on it and I could feel there was a little notch in there. So anyway, I cleaned it all out and everything was working fine. So that's the most common reason that would happen. Let's see. Ricky Smith says, just wanted to pass this along. Thanks again for everything you do. Well, thank you, Ricky. Thank you for being here. Look at Craig. He's here. What's up, Craig? Yo, 𝗂𝘁𝗄𝗃, good job. Keep it up. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you showing up. I've seen you in there a few times. Let's see. Number 8. This is where we were at. 2006 EZGO TXT 36 volt batteries at 36.5. Loses all power after 20 minutes of use. Smell coming from controller box area. What could be causing this? Now we're getting somewhere. We're getting into 2 possibilities, you know. But the fact that if I noticed a smell, and I would guarantee you that the smell you're talking about probably smells something like rotten eggs, doesn't it? Well, there's 2 things that that the cart could be happening to the cart to cause it to shut down prematurely. Okay, one of them could be batteries, okay, and one of them could be controller. What can happen is that a controller can go into what is called thermal shutdown. Okay, thermal shutdown feels exactly like your battery's going dead. It feels the exact same way. Like if you just ran your golf cart till your batteries went out, then it would, it would just eventually just slow down and just come to a stop. And then if you waited a few minutes and you could get back on it and you could drive a little bit further, and that would be batteries dead. And then you could do that probably 3 or 4 times, maybe even long enough to get you back to where you started. Well, thermal shutdown does almost the exact same thing, except there's heat involved and a possible smell involved from the controller box area. So what you're describing to me sounds like it could be possible thermal shutdown, because if that controller gets too hot, it will shut itself down for safety reasons, so it doesn't catch on anything on fire, which it still can happen. That can still happen too. And then as it stops, it cools off a little bit. It starts cooling off. Once it cools off, you can get back on your cart and you can drive it a little bit. But if you heat it back up by doing the exact same thing you were doing before, it's just going to shut down again. And eventually, I can tell you this, after shutting down, after going into thermal shutdown so many times, it eventually will go into thermal shutdown and just never come back, because the diodes will be toast inside the controller. So it could be that, especially since you said that there was a smell. Let's see. Eric Boucher. What's up, Eric? How's it going? 2004 Club Car DS48. What would be the best motor to get the most speed and power out of? Well, if you want speed and power, Eric, I would go with a combo. I would go with a controller and a motor. If you go to our website and plug in motor and just show all results for motor, you'll see some combo kits that we have, golfcartgarage.com, by the way, and you'll see our combo kits. And in the description of the combo kits, it actually tells you what percentage you can expect of increase in speed and power, because these combo kits come with a motor, controller, and a heavy-duty solenoid. See, the motor, you could get more speed or more power depending on which one you wanted to go to, but the controller is what's going to give you the most power. It's going to actually give you the ability where that controller wakes that controller up, and the whole thing works together. That would be what I would do. Now we sell Admiral motors in some of the combo kits. We sell other types of motors. They're all fine. It's just that would be the best way to get you some more speed and power out of it. And you say thank you for all you do. Well, thank you, Eric. That's a nice thing to say, man. I appreciate that. Let's see. That was number 8 last, so we're on number 9 now. On my 48-volt charger, when does it shut off, and how many volts to my batteries? Well, on a 48-volt system, a 48-volt golf cart, you could, now I'm only talking about the on charge voltage. Like if you had a voltmeter on your battery pack and your chargers are running, okay, you have to understand when your charger first starts running, it's going to show a certain amount of volts. At the end of the charge cycle, or right before it gets ready to shut off, it's going to be a much higher voltage rating. In a 48-volt system, the shut-off voltage is going to be, it could be as high as 60 volts, maybe even a little bit more before it shuts off. And as soon as it shuts off, that 60 volts is not going to hold. It's going to drop pretty fast down to around 55, then 54, 53, and it would probably hold somewhere around the 51 or 52 volt range. But right before that charger shuts off, it could be as high as 60 volts. Let's see. Anthony Moore asked on YouTube, if I have to replace my battery, can I have mismatched name brands? I have Rocket L875 batteries now. Well, I guess the answer to that question would be, how much longevity are you trying to get out of this fix? Because if you do that, you can definitely do that, and it will work, but it might not work for as long as you had the same battery, because the amp hour may be a little bit different, in the battery. So you have to be careful about that. If you're just trying to get your car running and you're not worried about it lasting forever, or 5 years or whatever, then you could do that and it would work just fine. But if the amp hour is different, it might not even charge as good. You might end up with a weak battery in your pack. I would recommend having matching if you could. Let's see. Christine Taylor on YouTube asked, how much are the new type batteries, 36 volt now? You mean, are you talking about lithium, Christine Taylor? You're talking about the new lithiums? The lithium batteries that we sell at Golf Cart Garage, every manufacturer that we sell, they all recommend using their charger. They don't recommend you using your charger. They recommend using their charger. And so that their charger costs anywhere from $200 to $300, something like that. So depending on which brand you go with. So that's if that's what you're talking about. Now you could be talking about anywhere from, for a whole switch over to lithium, could be anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 by the time you get it done. So just depending on which ones you go with. Just checking on Facebook. Don't have anything there. Let's see. Number 10. This is the last regularly scheduled question. Is number 10. And don't forget to stay around to the end of this video, because we're going to be giving something away. Do I need to do something to prevent batteries from dying during winter months? Is charging them enough? Well, yes, charging them is enough during winter months, because a fully charged battery will not freeze, at least not on this planet. It doesn't get cold enough, to freeze a fully charged battery on this planet. Maybe somewhere else, because it's like minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit or something before a fully charged battery would freeze. I can't remember the exact number, but it's something that we don't have to worry about here. So all you have to do is have a plan to keep your batteries charged. Now, if you charge your golf cart occasionally, like maybe once a month, you'll be fine. You should be fine through the winter months. Or you get either that, or you get a charger that has a storage mode function, like a Summit 2 that we sell here at Golf Cart Garage. And in the storage mode function, it will come back on and charge your card occasionally itself automatically. If you have a 48-volt club car pre-2014 with an onboard computer, it will do something similar. So you just leave your charger plugged in. So it just depends. You just have to have a plan in place for your batteries over the winter months. All right. We'll give the giveaway. Look at there. TM giveaways. Get 5% off any parts you order from Golf Cart Garage by using the coupon code TM5. TM5. Code expires on December the 2nd. So between now and December 2nd, if you got to get any golf cart parts, put TM5 in on the thing at checkout, and you will be good to go. Let me check on Facebook feed is good. YouTube feed is good. Yeah, we're good there. All right. That was the last question. Let me turn off this code for a second because I'm going to give this week's tip. This week's tip is, I think I've already said it in a couple of the questions. When I read through the questions before I go live, I actually come up with the tip based on the questions that I talked about that day. So some of the things that came up repeatedly today was when it's possible thermal shutdown or possible bad battery. Well, the tip is the best time. Here's the tip: best time to find a bad battery is during failure. In other words, if your cart's failing, that's the best time to get your voltmeter out and go through your batteries and try to find it. Because by the time you get back to wherever your cart came from, that voltage could be back up. And what it is you've got one battery dropping. So you're looking for one battery. So find it at the time of failure, at the point of failure. The chugging, the person that said something about it was chugging. That's the time to look. That's this week's tip. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Craig says, thanks, Tim. The channel is looking great. Well, thank you, Craig. Anthony Moore, thanks, Tim. Eric Boucher, I have the Summit 2 battery charger. Will that charge lithium batteries? That is a good question, Eric, and the answer is yes. The Summit 2 does have a lithium setting, but there is a but to there, and this is a very important but. The lithium manufacturers would actually need to see the spec sheet on that Summit 2 in order for them to approve you using that Summit 2 on their lithium batteries. Now, I know that sounds crazy because it does have a lithium setting. Well, the lithium batteries companies are so specific about the fact they want you to use their charger. They have to look at that spec sheet and see what the algorithm of that charger is compared to their charger and see if it's going to be good enough for them to warranty your lithium batteries. So you need to check with your whatever lithiums you decide to go with. You're going to have to check with that company and make sure that they're cool with you using that Summit 2 on their batteries. Let's see. That looks like about it. All right. Don't forget, if you don't already know, I'm Tim. I work for Golf Cart Garage. I'm a member of the Gearheads on Demand service. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in scheduling a phone call or a video call with me about your golf cart related issues, then click the link in the description and that'll take you to the scheduling page so you can learn more about that if you think that's necessary. I'd be glad to help you. That looks like that's going to be about it for me today, everybody. I will see you on Tuesday. And that will be episode 75 on Tuesday. All right. Thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody in the chat. And if you didn't get the giveaway, it's TIM5. It's the coupon code. Just plug in TIM5 at checkout. I'm running it up there one more time. Get 5% off any parts you order at golfcartgarage.com. Use TIM5 at checkout, 5% off. All right. We'll see everybody Tuesday. The garage is now closed.